Do. There you go. And it's all tweeted out. So, yeah, Amber Heard or Amber Turd. I mean, it's fitting considering the way that she shit the bed.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was kind of trying to decide how to go about uh, uh, structuring this, and I didn't really come up with much of a structure. So yeah, just kind of winging it.
Yeah.
Probably give some people a chance to maybe actually show up before
Hmm.
starting to talk too much. But for myself, I really started paying attention to all this stuff right around when I noticed a voice clip that came out with her actually telling Johnny Depp that he could tell the world what she was doing to him and no one would believe him. And I was just like, wait, what the hell's going on? And why are people still supporting her after she said this? And that's when I started paying attention.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So I was just kind of wondering where you got if you guys had any particular points you remember starting to pay attention during.
Mostly during the first time I even heard about it.
Ah,
Yeah.
I just hadn't been paying any attention to it, and just that randomly came across my attention.
Right.
Yeah, for me,
Uh,
it
a while ago, when it first came out that Johnny Depp was abusive, quote unquote, or whatever, I was on Facebook and I was scrolling through different things, and I hadn't heard it yet, but a friend of mine named James posted something about Johnny Depp, and he says, "Well, I used to have a lot of respect for Johnny Depp. Guess I don't now. I don't like abusers and things like that." And I was like, "What did Johnny Depp do?" So I looked into it and started reading these articles about these allegations going out about Johnny Depp, and I got frustrated. I was like, I can't believe Johnny would do that, and I was real mad. And I said, "Can you believe what Johnny Depp did?" And she's like, what did he do?" And so I showed her the articles. I showed her what James had said, and she goes, "I don't believe it." I said, "Are you sure?" And so that's when I started doing some digging, and I found out that the bruises that she had on her skin were faked by makeup and things like that, and there were other stuff that just started to leak out.
That just
But
didn't
then I
make
was
sense.
looking even more, and I was like, why in the world, just like what you were saying, why in the world are these people still rallying for Amber Heard? It made no sense to me. And I was like, if you look at facts, then facts are facts.
Hmm. And honestly, I don't have any real opinion on Johnny Depp. He might be a good guy. He might be a bad guy. I really don't know. I still haven't looked into that enough to know. I know that he has problems with substance abuse, and I know that there may be good or bad things that have happened. But one way or the other, he's been demolished in his career, in pretty much everything that he tries to do, due to simple allegations that were made without any proof, without going to court, without anything. Just Amber
Exactly. Yeah.
Heard put out a letter the day before Aquaman was came out. Apparently, I didn't know about that timing until yesterday. That which is and that letter is the crux of the court case. It's it's she just put out that letter that had within it the roundabout accusations of him, and suddenly he became persona non grata. Everybody's going, oh he's a wife beater, he's an abuser, without proof, without anything having happened. there may, there may be something to what she says. I doubt it, but there may be.
Right.
But but what about all the things that there's proof of what she's done? No one wants to listen to that. Listen
Exactly.
and it's listen and believe until the thing that until they don't want us to listen to something.
Well, it doesn't fit the narrative, you
Yeah,
know,
that's kind of what I mean.
and like because they're so used to women being the victim in domestic abuse, and it's like men being domestically abused is still taboo.
Yep.
And
And
that's the thing too. When all that supposed info came out, it came out during the Me Too movement, and that's why it was all the rage to come out and say, "Well, I was abused," which gives a bad name to the ones who have been abused, the ones who really
yes,
have been through that trouble.
and
What's sad
and
about the whole
and Amber
ordeal.
Heard. And here's the other thing: Amber Heard has actually been lifted up as the face of the Me Too movement and Times Up and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And and to, and whether or not Johnny did something to her, do we is she really a good face for any of this, given what she herself has done?
No.
No,
She seems like one of the worst, and they've chosen her to be their paladin. What the hell?
Well, look at what she did to Jason Momoa.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I mean, it's
I,
not
I
just
oh right, I'd
that.
forgotten. I'd
Yeah.
completely forgotten about that.
Yeah,
wait, what she do
Yeah.
to him?
she took a prop that had like a pointed edge or something and snared his eye.
It was his trident.
Oh, it was his trident?
What?
Yeah, and hit him in the eye with him. Hit him in the eye multiple times, even after he was down.
That was one of the reasons why they had to stop filming.
And then he went and he was in front of a camera talking about his eye and how he had to go to the hospital. I think, what did he do? Butterfly or what was it?
I can't remember.
But yeah, I mean, you add that to the whole hill of beans. I mean, there's some truth to that.
So she's just violent.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, hey Sam, how's it going?
I saw that comment. It's funny.
So yeah, Sam hails from across the sea. Where his court system has already given Amber Heard the pass.
I
What?
saw that.
I just giving him crap, but he is from the UK, so.
Yeah, I think that was rigged from the start.
Oh hell yeah!
Definitely.
When you have a judge that actually throws out police investigators as suspect,
Yeah.
and then just then believes a random person over them. What? and,
Right?
and if I remember correctly, they actually had body cam footage. and they're still like, and they were still like, nope, we're just going to throw this out because it's just not, because we don't trust them.
The funny thing is, there was one guy who I'm friends with, and there's a lot of things that he believes in that I don't, but I know that he had been in film and that he's worked with different actors and stuff, and he's more of a character actor. And me and him were in a play, and I brought up like different people he's met. And I brought up the Amber Heard situation, and he said, I won't go near Amber Heard. She is a pariah. Even this guy who pretty much vehemently disagrees with a lot of things that I believe thinks that Amber Heard's a pariah.
Yeah.
You weren't expecting to have Jay in the chat in here tonight, but you do now.
No, I actually halfway did.
I figured.
I wasn't sure, but I was like, there's a decent chance he might be in the background.
Well, yeah.
originally I didn't plan to jump in, but then the conversation got interesting. I was like, I'd like to put my 2 cents in, I guess.
Well, this conversation is gonna get interesting just by the very nature of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially after today.
Oh yeah, right before we started this, I was actually listening to the recap by the Umbrella Guy. And by the way,
Uh-huh.
just a quick shill for the Umbrella Guy. If you want to know anything about what the hell's going on with Johnny Depp, he's been doing deep dives into all this stuff for years.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I
But I
love.
just want I'm mostly trying to say to the audience, go check him out.
Yeah,
So,
he's. I love him. He's awesome.
so I was just listening to a recap of the that the Umbrella Guy was doing today, and apparently Eve Barlow, who was the BFF of Amber Heard, got herself thrown out of court twice today.
I heard about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For the first time she was dicking around with her phone, which they're not supposed, which the audience isn't supposed to be having the tech stuff. The only people in the court that should be having any tech, to my understanding, are the lawyers themselves. So the thing that actually got the makeup artist kicked out was something that came from Eve Barlow. If you're watching in the background, it got passed from them to the lawyers. Then the lawyers suddenly ran up to the judge's bench, and all of them were then huddling back behind. So whatever it was that caused Gina to be kicked out, which it sounds like she said something on Instagram that she shouldn't have, came from them, not from the lawyers.
Hmm.
And that sounds like it's what got Gina, not Gina. That's what sounds like got Eve Barlow kicked out. If I'm understanding what I'm hearing correctly.
Interesting.
And whereas Gina should not have said anything like that, it's interesting the way that outside, and the way the outsiders are kind of influencing what's going on, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem, if you ask me.
Right.
Now, if an outsider had emailed them and it got brought to the judge's attention tomorrow morning or something like that, that would be one thing. But for it to interrupt the trial right in the middle of it, I see a problem with that, because it caused a snap decision without the judge having time to really research it. Now, mind you, Gina admitted to it, but still, it called for a judgment on the spot, which I think is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd say that for either side, by the way, for either Amber Heard or Johnny Depp. This is a problem with procedure that I don't like.
And the thing is, I'm on the spectrum, so I don't pick up on social cues all the time. And what ends up happening is I've gone to YouTube, and there are body language analysis experts. So I've been watching them, and I've kind of picked up on social cues a lot better than I used to by watching it. And so, in watching Johnny, in contrast to Amber, yeah, there are times that Johnny smiles, but it's kind of an uncomfortable smile, or he'll laugh, but it's more because he knows the person that's in the room, or he sees that there's a fan there and he wants to make sure that that fan gets a smile from him, or he makes their day or whatever. So you can kind of pick up on that. But Amber Heard, throughout this whole thing, as she's walking in, her chin is up in the air, like, I'm holier than thou. I'm important. I'm big. So you can put the camera on me all you want. I'll eat it up. But Johnny Depp, when he's not smiling, he's got these lines under his eyes. He's tired. This guy is not sleeping. Not only that, he is very uncomfortable. He does not want to be here. It's just a long, drawn-out thing that's been going on for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's scared of her. You can see that.
Well, definitely.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Even now he's scared of her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, the assistant that was on the stand practically threw her under the bus.
He threw it off. That
So,
assistant hated her
oh, definitely.
I think
with
the
with
people
cause
who were
too.
closest to her and knew her for what she was actually despised her secretly, because anybody who has enough money can pay someone to like them until that money runs out.
Yeah. And Sam, you're absolutely right. Not to mention when you listen to the recordings, he is absolutely trying to deflate the situation while she's further pushing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He's very clearly not wanting things to escalate. And
Well,
with the way that they talked about it today, I think it was it was actually talked about that she actually, when he would try to disengage, she would punch him or do something to get him back into the to get him back into whatever was going on. She wouldn't let him escape.
Yeah.
yeah. The marriage counselor said it all right there. She was the aggressor.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not really a fan of the entire mutual abuse thing that some
Right.
people keep on bringing up, because they're always trying to bring it up by saying that Johnny did it first, and that so anything that Amber Heard did back was justified. As I'm looking at it, I'm going, you guys might have a point on the mutual abuse aspect, but I'm not so sure that it cuts the way that you think it should.
Right.
Be-
It's
because as it looks like Johnny may have possibly done something once or twice when he's been backed into a corner by her abuse.
Well,
And
yeah.
so,
He's gonna
so
retaliate.
and
yeah,
you know,
so
and
when
I
they talk
brought this
about
up.
the mutual abuse, that more covers Johnny, in my opinion, than covering in Amber.
I've brought this up before, where back in the '90s, and I think a little bit before the '90s too, there was this big thing that people said almost all the time, and now I look back on it, it gets on my nerves more than it did then. But the saying was, "There is never a reason to hit a woman," and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if that woman is on drugs, has a pot in her hand or a gun, I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to get that pot or that gun or whatever she has in her hand out. And if I don't have anywhere to go, if she's cornering me, I'm going to do something. So to say that there
Yeah,
is never a reason to hit a woman, I mean, dude, I don't believe in abuse. I hate
no,
abuse. I don't think it should happen, but you have to protect yourself. It's not a gender thing.
no, it really isn't. Oh, and to go with what Sam was saying, which is what I started off with, I actually found the exact conversation was and that was had, and I've got subtitles, so I'm just going to read it out to you guys.
Oh,
Here it is. It's you can please tell people that it was a fair fight. It's crap. Ah, here it is. You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the judge and jury thinks. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny. And then Depp. Depp. I, Johnny Depp, a man. I am a victim too of domestic violence, and it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you. And that is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. And that was word for word, by the way.
Yeah, that's all that is a retaliation.
Oh yeah, and it's also stating the exact thing that I was talking about before about listen to women, but don't listen to don't listen to anything that goes against the narrative.
Well, and
Yeah.
what's funny is ever since Warner had their merger, the people that supported Amber Heard no longer are there.
Yeah,
I
there was
didn't
a lot
realize
of
that.
firings.
Yep.
Amber Heard, I think, was fired, wasn't she?
That's the rumor going around that she was fired.
And then there were other people, her
Yeah.
constituents, anybody who was around her, been around her, they're fired and things like that.
Warner's trying to cover their tracks. If you've been watching that Umbrella guy, he's the one that brought up the whole Warner situation.
Yep. To my understanding, in the thing with Amber Heard being possibly fired is Warner Brothers explicitly has said, "Do not bring us into this case."
Exactly.
And if you look at the witness list,
they're brought into the case.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what exactly is being brought in with them. I'm not sure if Tug knows either. He might. I don't know. But you just have to look at the witness list to know that that they're being brought in.
Right.
And that goes
exactly.
explicitly against what she was told. So if she gets fired over this, she's not being fired for being in this battle. She's being fired for her own decisions.
Mm-hmm. And they pushed Aquaman back.
Mm-hmm.
So
they did, didn't they?
They did. They pushed Aquaman back.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons behind that too. It's not just one thing.
Oh yeah,
but the main thing is the court case.
Yeah, that is the main thing, of course.
Is the Flash involved in Aquaman 2 at all?
Ezra Miller has been fired from Warner.
Right,
yeah,
right, but I knew that was for the Flash. I just wasn't sure if there might have been a thing where he was also due for a cameo in Aquaman 2 or something like that.
I don't know. I haven't been keeping up because I refuse to watch it if she's still in there.
Yeah, same here.
I don't exactly refuse to watch Aquaman 2. It's that I thought Aquaman 1 was really bad. So I just don't care about Aquaman 2.
I was sad when I watched it because I love Momoa. Momoa is awesome. Like,
it had nothing to do with Momoa. It had his performance was good. The problem is the plot of that movie just completely was. As my wife and I were watching it, I was looking at it going, okay, now we're in this movie. Now we're in Shades of Tomb Raider. And I was just identifying everything that that it felt to me like they were stealing the movie from. So no matter how good of a performance Jason Momoa gave, I just was like, this movie's bad. Why is everybody saying it's good?
I felt bored.
Yeah,
I really felt terribly bored. And like you said, it wasn't Momoa's fault. I mean, Momoa's an awesome action star. Like he's really cool, and everything that I had ever seen him in. And I'll be the one who actually, like, I love the original Conan. I love the original Conan Barbarian, hands down. But I also liked the reboot they did with Momoa. I thought he was pretty awesome in that. It was a different version, and they were going more for the classic look and everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just to be fair, I'm going to show two collectibles that I have. Because this here, not get on cam myself, but I actually have her.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my word!
And I have her.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness!
1 second. I'm going to pull this away real quick since we're talking about collectibles and stuff.
Now what I did to my wife yesterday while she was in the bathroom, I came out of the I went and got these and just kind of placed them where I knew that that she'd sit down and they'd basically be watching her.
Showing the Edward Scissorhands one a little closer.
Oh, was there? Yes.
You
need to look at my Edward Scissorhands over here. One of my favorite ones.
Yeah. We've got one of the we've got an Edward Scissorhands too somewhere. But yeah, she sat down and she was like, ah.
I know, my face is scary.
Okay, I'm back.
All I heard was
Oh no, I was just saying that my wife was like when she realized that that Amber Heard was basically looking at her when she sat down.
Oh, that is scary.
No, I got that.
And keep in mind, we were watching the court case, so
Yeah.
so she sat down watching the court case, and then suddenly Amber Heard is there staring at her.
Yeah, it's nuts. I was watching the quarterings video on it. I don't agree with some of his points either.
Yeah, he's got some poor takes.
I don't agree with everything Quartering
He's
says.
a cool guy.
I like the Quartering, cancel me. I like the guy. I think that he tries to be fair, but he also goes off the deep end occasionally.
Yeah.
there are times that he'll get on somebody else about being on the fence, but he will teeter on the fence himself and say, well, it takes two to tango. And I'm like, well, sometimes it can be one-sided, my man. Sometimes
it can be.
Right.
And yes, I know that we kind of already covered this, but I want to react to the chat some. Sam, you're absolutely right, because when you say it's funny because second Depp was deemed the abuser, Warner Brothers kicked him out of Fantastic Beasts faster than a dog chasing a bone.
That's right.
Yet it took this long for them to decide to take any action on Amber Heard.
Right.
Yeah.
But for him, they just had to hear one accusation, and nope, he dropped, and then they put it out as a big virtue signal, saying, "Look at us, we're so progressive because we decided to." Because we decided to bow to cancel culture, which is
and look what's going on with Fantastic Beasts right now.
Oh yeah, it's tanking.
My view on the whole situation is, if they are so progressive, then why don't they progress and make good movies?
Yeah.
Like, my thing is, if you're gonna listen to the fans, then listen to the fans. Ever since Alita Battle Angel had come out, the fans came out of the woodwork. I'm one of them, where, we like the movie. We want a sequel. Do people listen? No. They keep shelling out this crap.
Actually, I want to be fair. I want to be fair a little bit there. Take a look at which movie is topping everything right now.
Sonic
2.
Yes.
And why did people, including me, actually go to the original Sonic? A lot of them didn't go because they were lifelong Sonic fans. I mean, I'm sure a lot were, but I grew up on Nintendo. I didn't know much about Sonic. They got me in the door by actually listening to the fans. I was like, okay, I want to reward this, and then I got in the door and went, holy shit, this is a good movie.
Yeah,
and then they followed it up with Sonic 2, which it's not the best movie ever, but I think it actually may be the best video game movie that I've seen. And that happened on both parts because they listened to the fans.
And more people should do that. Give money to something like that. I haven't been to the theater to see it yet. I really, really want to see it.
I highly suggest it. It's really good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. Except, there was like one review that said, "Yeah, I hated the human roles. I hated the human roles because they were boring."
Okay, what I'm going to say there is that the human roles were not that big of a part of the movie, and right at the part, I'm not going to say what it was, but right at the part that I was telling my wife that, oh God, could they just get rid of the B plot? Literally about 3 minutes later, I was falling over laughing, going, okay, never mind. And if you remember me saying that Rian Johnson could learn a thing or two about subversion of expectations, that was the moment I was talking about. But I don't want to spoil the actual thing yet, because it's better if you don't know what's coming.
Root beer, okay?
It's fine. I'm thirsty.
My thing is about Rian Johnson. If Rian Johnson is given something, he's good. But if Ryan Johnson is at the helm, it's bad. Because you go back to Breaking Bad, and he was directing that one episode. It wasn't a bad episode. I didn't know who Ryan Johnson was, but
I didn't know who he was either.
Yeah. I didn't know he was either.
I think it was the episode where he threw the pizza on the roof, which I found hilarious. So.
It was. It was the episode where the wife was a total female dog.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, you mean like every time she shows up?
That makes sense.
But I know what you're talking about. I just
yes.
don't like her.
I don't either.
No. The ending to the show was kind of disappointing. I hated the way his son looked at his father's actions. I just couldn't stand that because I guess I had a love for my father. It was a pretty good, strong love towards the end when he passed away. And so when I saw the way that his son reacted to the things that his dad had done, I was like, oh, please don't end it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Just a sad ending. Just like this trial is going to be a sad ending for Amber Heard.
I hope so.
Here's hoping. And one thing that I was mentioning in the group chat that I wanted to bring up is one thing. Everybody who's looking at the trial as some sort of trial of which one is a better person, who's gotten more of the short end of the stick. That is not what this is actually about. This is about that. This is about whether or not Johnny Depp was defamed.
Right.
So what he is saying is that he lost roles, which is definitely verifiable.
Yeah.
And the reason is because she falsely accused him of being a wife beater.
Yep.
And
there's proof in the pictures.
Right.
Yeah. But so the biggest question there is not biggest question, but the thing is that no matter how much is proven that Amber Heard has done to him, that just shows that she's a husband beater.
Yeah.
It is possible to have for the wife to be a husband beater while the husband is also a wife beater at the same time. So if the jury decides that 2 slaps or something like that is the equivalent of losing your friggin' finger, part of your friggin' finger.
Oh, I'm gonna be mad.
Oh yes, but I'm just cautioning people that there is that even if Amber Heard wins, it is not some sort of justification for her.
No, it's not.
And hopefully,
it's definitely not going to be the end of this.
No, and here's the other thing: no matter what happens, Johnny Depp is getting his story out, which never would have happened before. Even with the UK trial, he was just denied even being able to present the evidence. This trial, even if it rules against him, the judge is letting almost all of the evidence in, so his story will be out there.
Oh yeah,
which by itself could help reclaim his reputation, even if it's a loss, which it damn well shouldn't be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to put out there that it shouldn't be a win means Johnny's right and a loss means Amber Heard's right. It shouldn't be taken that way.
No, but you know the crazies out there are going to take it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but I just wanted to get my take on it out there.
And
but if he
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, but if he wins, that's gonna set a precedent for other men in Hollywood that have been abused. So they'll come out because I remember when Terry Crews, he was sexually assaulted at a party in LA, and everybody got on him, and they're saying "suck it up, be a man," and it wasn't that bad, and you know, when he went on TV and told his story, he had tears in his eyes because it was humiliating, you know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a person or a guy, that's claiming this abuse. If they say that I mean,
If they say
of
that it
course, yeah,
happened, if someone says that it happened, you don't need to believe them. You need to hear them.
Exactly.
yeah,
I've never liked listen and believe. How about just listen?
yeah.
And there,
And it's like,
there's a difference
Listen and check,
between.
maybe.
Okay,
yeah, and then like dealing with Hollywood, it's like, okay, there may be some weight to that accusation because Hollywood is sick, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
they have become very, very ill. And there's a difference between oh shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Choo choo.
Oh shoot.
You were saying that there's
Now,
a difference between.
are you
if that
sure you
helps.
lost your train of thought and joy and sadness didn't just knock it out of the sky completely?
No, I went on that train. It took me to the end of the track, pretty much. Oh man, backtrack a little bit. What were you guys saying?
Hmm.
We were talking about Terry Crews.
Right,
All right.
Terry Crews.
Yeah. We were talking
And
about Terry Crews.
oh, I remember now. Okay, so what I was trying to say was there's a difference between, like, let's say, man up and do it this way, and when something bad, horrible has happened to you, to say man up, that's a very trivial and stupid thing to say to somebody who's been through trauma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I could understand, like, if you're working for somebody and it's hard labor and somebody says man up and just do it, let's get this done. But to say it to somebody who has been abused, to just say man up and go out there and tell them your story, that's a lot. I don't know, that's just bad behavior to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I had a friend. Well, at the time, he was kind of a friend. I kind of consider him more of a fake friend, but at the time, I had considered him as such. And he would drive me around, and he was kind of sort of a chauffeur and stuff, kind of, sort of. But he helped me out in different ways. And we got into a conversation where me and my wife both suffer from different developmental handicap sort of things. And I was talking to him about how I was so frustrated about how our living situation looked. And I said it deals a lot, sadly, with our mental issues, how we're just not good at housekeeping. And he, as we walked into the home where we were living at the time, he looks around and he says, well, it looks to me like you two have a bad case of lazy ass-itis.
Oh, bite me.
And it's like, really? Just, that is how the world views.
That's how society views us.
That's how some people in society views people who are handicapped in some ways.
Yeah. But for myself, I personally have severe ADD, but I, I'm able to mostly have it under control. But there are various things in my life that it causes problems with.
Our youngest has ADHD, and there are things that make it so she can't function,
Definitely.
function
Yeah.
properly. She can't remember to do normal things.
Thankfully, my meds help me a lot.
I don't know if you use the right term there, Noel. Normal, because
I'm talking about like hygiene.
I know
things.
what you're saying. I sympathize where you're coming from at that point, but we're
not what they consider normal.
My thing is, there is nothing that is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is normal. And the reason why that is because everybody is different in their own way.
That's what I'm saying. But society deems people with mental health or disabilities as not normal.
Right. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's we have different abilities.
Yeah.
We're not disabled. We just have different abilities.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
And
I see.
I honestly, if someone were to offer to just take my ADD away, I'd tell them to go away. Because for the problems that that it does give me, it also adds other abilities that others don't. For instance, I typically have about 5 trains of thought running at a time, and they work together. It's not like different personalities. It's just I'm able to split my thought processes up in ways that the only people that I know of that typically understand that are other people who have ADD.
Right. And I just had a meeting at my daughter's school, and she's capable of learning. She just lets her hyperactivity get in the way. She's very, very smart. And if she had one-on-one one-on-one teaching with math, she'd be like way up there.
Yeah, she's such a. At times she can be real funny. The teacher had said, "Did you know that your daughter in the middle of class, when it's really quiet and she's bored, tends to stand up at where she's at and make a weird noise?"
She and this other kid who has ADHD as well do not get along in class. His name is he's the same age she is. They proceeded to have a food fight yesterday in the lunchroom.
Oh dear Lord!
I laughed when I first heard this.
And she has a sprained ankle and a pulled muscle because I had to take her to the ER last night. But
right, never mentioned that.
Yeah, she didn't go to school because she's in so much pain. I come home, I talk to her about it, and I go, "Could you please remember tomorrow when you go to school to take up responsibility for your actions?" I don't know who won, Sam.
Wait,
all I know is both of them have to clean up the lunchroom. So
yeah,
they have to clean up after lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, I haven't heard the term food fight in years. When I was in school, we did have a food fight, but it was amongst like the whole student body. They went nuts. So it was like the literal like kid comedy, where everybody's like food fight.
I'm reading Sam's comments, and he says, "Give her frozen apples for extra damage."
Mashed potatoes were fun to throw. I'll tell you that. Let me just say.
When her teacher proceeded to tell me this, do you know how hard it was not to break out in laughter? Because her teacher was so serious.
Oh,
I was like, God. "Oh my goodness! Don't tell me this."
But that takes me back to when Dana was younger, right?
My version of this is actually a little bit different. I'm the odd person with ADD who doesn't actually have the hyperactivity portion. I have a lot of energy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not. I'm just shy of hyperactive. So they didn't really believe that I had ADD because boys presenting with ADD were assumed to be hyperactive.
Right.
What I would do would be I'd be reading books instead of listening to the teachers. and what really frustrated them was that they'd ask a question and I'd still be able to answer their question. and then there was one time in middle school that my English teacher just got so fed up with me that he confiscated my friggin' book.
Oh.
The problem was that it wasn't my book; it was my brother's book.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, he was so pissed off with me.
Well, when her teacher told me that she stands up in class and says random things in class,
that's just what she does at home.
I said to her, I looked her straight in the face and said, "Well, if I forgot to give her medicine, her hyperactivity kicked in." Like, that's just
Me
Yep.
and Dana don't do a whole lot together. If Mom and Taylor are out and they leave Dana here, she'll be at the computer in the next room, and I'll be in my man cave. And there's a room between the living room and the man cave. It's the kitchen. And I'll be sitting there, be totally quiet throughout the house. She'll be on the computer playing FNF or Roblox, whatever she's playing on there. And I'll hear, I'm like,
Oh,
my
Sam,
gosh, what in the world?
Sam just said, tell her to say random words quietly while facing the corner of the room. Just have the whole classroom shit themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, do not encourage my daughter.
Oh, please do. It'd be boring otherwise.
Oh,
Oh,
the
dear
other day,
Lord.
the other day, I'm sitting in the van with his mom. His mom's taking us somewhere, and she proceeds to say some of the weirdest things that come out of her mouth.
What? Which one?
I can't remember exactly what it was, but she proceeds to say something random, and her grandmother looks at her and goes, "What did you just say?" So she repeats it, and I'm like, "Oh boy." We were on our way to Walmart, and she had let loose some gas, and she proceeds to vocally voice out and go, "I just farted." And I went, the whole world doesn't need to know you farted.
You gotta understand too that my mom comes from a different day and age where you just don't talk about your bodily functions. And so my mom, their grandmother, is all like, they should be doing this or that.
Mm-hmm.
So when Dana does that kind of stuff, it's kind of funny.
Sam says, look like she has powers of being an expert wordsmith and food fighter. We shouldn't stop her. We should increase her powers.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
By the power of
well, yesterday we were on our way. We were on our way to pick up my oldest from after school activity. And she didn't have to use the restroom until we got almost halfway there.
Yeah.
And I said, you could have just gone home. She said, but I didn't have to go then. She's 11.
I mean, you want to know the weird thing is when I was a kid and I was misdiagnosed all the time because people didn't know what I had. They didn't think I was on the spectrum. They thought I was ADHD, ADD, I was this, I was that. No, he can't be ADHD. He can't be ADD. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Blah, 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 blah. It went on until I was about 18 or 19 years old when I was finally diagnosed being on the spectrum. And anyway, so when I was younger, like I said, I didn't pick up on social cues. So I didn't know when somebody's being sarcastic or trying to say something stupid. And my mom, she said to me one time, "You are driving me up the wall." And I looked at her and I said, "Mom, I can't drive you up the wall. Cars don't go up walls."
Yeah.
I don't remember saying this, but my mom remembers that.
Mm-hmm.
She's just as literal as you are.
But I wasn't joking either. I thought my mom meant that I was driving her up the wall with a car.
She's just as literal as you.
So, to get back to the actual topic.
Yes, back to the actual
So
topic.
how did we get here?
Oh, I know exactly how we got here. So one thing about the trial yesterday was when Isaac B, I forget his full name, and when they're talking about the makeup for whether she was wearing makeup or not, was she using Amica cream? Was she using Amica cream? And I looked it up afterwards, and it was actually Arnica cream. And I thought it was hilarious that the lawyer for their side, the one that was bringing up the point, completely misstated the cream that they were claiming would fix anything, that would hide all bruises, broken noses, or whatnot. And they couldn't even get the name of it right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I looked up after the fact, and Nick Rekieta had been corrected in his chat, so he thought that he just misheard it. Then when he listened to it again, he was like, "No, they were calling it Habakkuk cream." And so they just completely fucked up their own claim by basically showing that they not only didn't know what it could or couldn't do, they didn't even know the name of the purported product they claimed would fix the stuff. And then when Isaac just suddenly broke out laughing when they kept on asking him if it's possible she'd used Amica cream here, Amica cream there, and he just broke out laughing. That would I'm sorry. No.
Gosh.
Jeez.
They're eventually going to literally just blow their whole case.
Yeah. Now that they don't, the thing that I think is that now that they have a judge who is not simping for them,
Right.
Yes.
they are going to, at the very least, have their side blown wide open. Whether or not the jury decides to be sane or not, their entire story is being blown wide open for the public to see.
Well, and this judge, was trying to get them to hand over records.
Yeah.
Before the trial started.
Mm-hmm. And she also stated that I forget exactly how she stated, but it came out that she basically didn't think that justice was served in the United Kingdom, which is why during opening arguments when the defense tried bringing things to the UK Sun case, it's the plaintiffs put in an objection, and it got shut down.
Oh, definitely.
And yeah, I don't think that this judge is biased in favor of Johnny.
I don't think so.
But I think that she is very skeptical of the bullshit tricks that it looks like Amber Heard's side has been doing.
She's doing her job.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Because if she was biased in favor of him, there were objections that she would not have sustained.
Right.
From the defense.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not going to buy anyone tell me that she's biased for Johnny. She's
she's
like
not.
You say, she's just doing her friggin' job.
Doing her job.
And getting very annoyed at people who are who are making a spectacle out of the case.
A judge should be, biased. That's just the way it should be. I don't get it. What's so funny?
I don't know what I'm gonna do with this man.
Yeah. One other thing that that had me puzzled during the cross-examination of Isaac yesterday was the way that they kept on trying to basically beat him into saying that he arrived at the location between 9:30 and 10 instead of what he kept saying around 9:30. And then it occurred to me later, I haven't looked at all the metadata on the pictures, but I think that they were trying to make it so that whatever story they wanted would align with the metadata on those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And 9:30 was just not working for the story that they wanted to sell.
Right.
And they kept on trying to impeach that man's memory. And
I'm telling you.
And all that they did was they showed that he had a very frighteningly good memory.
Right. Those pictures are fake.
I mean, even if you look at the damages. Like I think Quartering talked about. Well,
It wasn't
who hasn't talked about it?
It
Let's say that.
wasn't. I don't think it was the quartering. I think it was the umbrella
Well, I
guy.
can't remember what one we were watching.
Or Flash.
It showed pictures of the hallway, and
That was-
Amber
Yeah.
had called police in, and they looked over the place. Everything looked fine, but then pictures were taken afterwards, and there was a little bit of spillage here, a little bit of spillage there, a little bit knocked over, and the carpet, well, it wasn't ruined, but it had something on it. And it was like, gee, it looks like they just terrorized the entire place.
Yeah.
I mean, it did not look like Amber had described it.
And at least one of the things with the metadata, it sounds. I really kind of want to go look at the metadata myself now, if the stuff's available, because this is actually something that I know a decent amount about. I've got a master's in computer science. I know some computer forensics myself, and from what it sounds like, what pieces of metadata on there actually has it dated at night as being taken in the year 1970, if I recall correctly.
Wow.
There are a lot of things like that where if it was just one, I could give you a decent explanation of how a computer could flub and have that happen. But it sounds like it's happening on tons of these pictures. So it's like, no.
Yeah.
And going back to the beginning of the when the whole thing started, and you got to see the interviews, or it was like what do they call that? Where they sit in like a plain white room. Yeah, the depositions. And you look at her face, and when she's trying to make a point and she really believes in it, she looks evil. Her eyes bulging out and everything. And then she takes a break to eat a sandwich.
Oh, God.
Like, okay. She's a little unhinged.
I haven't seen a lot of...
I was more curious about, the body language and stuff. Because, again, that goes back to me not picking up on social cues. And I wanted to make sure I was correct that she was just unhinged and stuff. And I'm looking at these body language analysis experts, and they too said the same thing. She's unhinged. She's going all over the place. She can't keep her story straight. Just the look on her face. She hates Johnny for whatever reason. She just hates him. Could be because he's a guy.
Yep.
Oh, and Sam, to mention a little bit more about the UK trial, when I said that the judge decided to just listen to a random guy over the police, when I say random guy, I mean, and the guy that she was listening to was one of the freeloaders that had come along with Amber Heard that Johnny Depp was putting up for free. That was on her side.
Wow.
And so that is who I was talking about. Somebody who had an obvious bias towards Amber Heard, and that was who the judge listened to over the police. And if I recall correctly, I could be wrong on this. The reason she gave for not trusting the police was that they said that they were there for 30 minutes when they were only there for 15 minutes, or vice versa. And them having misremembered that one detail was enough for her, or sorry, for him, because we're talking about the UK judge, to disbelieve any other things that they might recall from the situation.
Truth be told, his son was friends with Amber's attorney.
Yeah, I know.
And then, going back to that whole thing where the two cops were called over damages or whatever, and nothing was wrong. You could see in the video that, nothing was really turned over or damaged. You could see in the pictures that it had been set up. It was just a weird setup. But going back to that, when you look at the body cam footage of the two officers going into the apartment building, and you can see it's pretty clean. In fact, it's very immaculate. It's very nicely done. Everything's put in its place. and they're walking through, and there's just two people chilling out on the couch, and some dude answers the door, and everything's hunky dory.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what in the world?
And could you imagine the police just leaving, even if Amber Heard looked like she had been roughed up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have left, but they were they were on tape when they left.
Yeah.
And if she had been,
And-
if she,
And if she just told them to leave, which she could have done, she technically could have done that, but they wouldn't have left while joking around and stuff. They would have been going, "What the hell?" as
right.
they were leaving. And it would have looked much different than if they were leaving with nothing have happened.
And if she was such in worse shape, then why in the security footage does she look like she's having a good time?
That too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I honestly haven't seen a lot of the visuals because the way that I quote unquote watch stuff on YouTube and things is that I have YouTube Premium and I just play things in the background while I'm working during the day. So
Yeah.
I basically hear things. So I hear the narration of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I don't really see it. And for like the security footage, when the security footage is played, since there's no audio with the security footage, I have the very vaguest of idea of what is actually on the security footage.
Well, she gets in the elevator and she's laughing, giggling, having a good time.
Yeah.
On the day she claims that Johnny threw a phone at her.
And there was also pictures of her with the makeup. When the makeup, or not when the makeup, but at a different point in time on that same day, there's a little less of that bruise showing up, and you can see her laughing with this makeup artist that she's hanging with, and a couple of other girls that are there with her, and she's just grinning ear to ear. It's just wicked. I mean, you can tell that something was not right, but there's pictures that she had put up once of Johnny's quote unquote paraphernalia, and it was just some regular stuff doctored up to make look like it was drugs or alcohol or stuff like that. And it's like, what in the world? I mean, you could tell, any sane person could tell that this was a regular photo setup. It wasn't even Photoshop. It was just regular things doctored up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Let's just say she and I in high school would not have been friends. I probably would have been the one that knocked her through a thing of chairs.
Which actually
happened.
Jeez. What are
and the girl that I did that to is my best friend. So today.
Wow.
One of the things that really killed me during the trial yesterday, again with Isaac, was that at one point the defense counsel asked him, so you were angry with Amber Heard at this time? He was like, I don't really remember being angry. Then they gave him a little bit more detail, and I was like, so do you remember being angry now? And he's like, oh right. And then he just suddenly launched it into, I was really angry with her for, and then just went on to this epic tirade about her false accusations against Johnny Depp and all of this. And the defense counsel is just sitting there at the end of it going, Your Honor, I didn't ask him a question that would have set all that off. It's like, no, honey, you did. You
did.
You opened that door wide open for that rant.
And even going back before that, I mean, did you know about the mechanic?
The mechanic?
Yeah.
It rings a bell, but not.
It was
not
in
much.
one of that Umbrella Guys' videos.
Amber had a mechanic. It was either Amber's mechanic or it was Johnny's mechanic.
Johnny's mechanic.
Okay, so yeah, it was Johnny's mechanic, and she walked in and asked if she could have some repairs done on a vehicle. And he said, "Yeah, but I'll have to charge you the same amount I'll charge Johnny." And she's like, "Okay, no problem. I'll come back and check on it." And so there's nothing really happened too much there. But then she comes back and she goes, "How are the repairs?" And he said, "Well, I may have to charge you just a little bit more because," and I can't remember the technical talk, but there was a lot more going on with her vehicle than she than she thought. And so she proceeds to curse at him.
No.
Or so, no, just wait. He proceeds to curse at him. And he said, "Well, if you're going to talk to me that way, I don't think I really want to service you." And she leaves and kind of stomps out. Then she comes back in and she lays hands on him, not to hurt him, but lays hands on him in a sexual
There
manner
you go.
and starts flirting with him.
No.
And he's, doing everything he can to kind of push her away. And he's like, you really need to leave. This isn't right. I don't want to fix your vehicle. And so she almost got angry at this point, to the point where she about punches him. And so he had to call the cops on her. But before the cops got there, she was already gone.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So yeah, how about listen and believe there?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's cancel her while we're at it.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. Right.
What one thing that I find interesting, and it might just be because I'm not noticing it, but really truly this is cancel culture, and in a way this trial is, whereas it shouldn't be, it kind of is about cancel culture.
Yeah.
And I haven't been seeing people framing it that way online, and I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I think everybody here right now, I know, knows exactly what I think of cancel culture. But for
Yes.
anyone who comes later on, I just have this to say: fuck cancel culture.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not a cancel culture fan.
Cancel
I do-
cancel culture.
I do think, though, that if you've done something wrong, you do need to take responsibility for it, and you should be punished for it. Yes.
That's what the court is for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like with the this whole thing between Will Smith and Chris Rock,
Mhm.
do I believe what Will Smith did was wrong? Yeah. But I think you should pay for it. I think you should take responsibility for it. Yeah.
But the
people
consequences that
in
he's
my
getting,
opinion, I think, go to great
the consequences
extremes.
are going out of proportion to what he did.
Oh,
Frankly.
yeah.
And also, I know that I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think he should have his reward taken away, because what he did there does not influence why he was given the award.
Mm.
So, I mean, if they had decided to not give it to him directly after that, okay, fine. But they still decided to give him the award. So to rescind the award when him doing the slap had nothing to do with why he was chosen in the first place.
Yeah.
No, he's just
And
manipulated by a woman.
I've seen
But
footage.
I did, but I do understand him being barred in the future, because that's
Yeah.
a decision that I don't necessarily say they should, but I understand it because that's a decision moving forward. But to rescind it is to undo the past, and that
I'm not-
bothers me.
I'm not by any means giving him credence for what he did.
No.
But at the same time, I've watched the footage of different things, and he's been pretty calm during a lot of situations with his wife and the different things that she has done. And there's this one video that I watched where he's just being a normal everyday guy in his house, right? And Jada Pinkett Smith rushes up to him with a camera and starts saying, "How do you feel about such and such being on Red Tabletop?" And then she's
Yeah.
talking about the therapist
The
that's
more that comes out,
his
the
stuff.
more I feel, the more I feel sympathy towards him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
and I'm kind of curious about this, Sam. If you could elaborate on Jim Carrey getting canceled. I've somehow managed to
what?
miss that part. Because I mean, Sonic 2 just happened, which is going crazy. So I have not noticed. I've not seen what you're referring to there.
I wonder if he's referring to the fact that Jim Carrey came out and was disgusted by what happened.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
probably what it is.
Okay, I managed to miss that
Which
reaction.
shocks me somewhat. I mean, here's the thing, and I think I had made a post about this a while back about it all. When the whole when the whole Will Smith thing broke, all these people who were siding with Chris Rock were hypocrites. I mean, you know, where's all the times where you were offended by a joke? What about all the times you abused someone? What about all the all those other times? And yet you're gonna side with Chris Rock at this point. And
How about all the
Jim
people
Carrey
that
was
said
kind
that
of
it's
the
okay to
same
punch
way,
Nazis?
Hmm?
The people who say that it's okay to punch Nazis, those are the same people that were offended by Will Smith doing the slap.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know
They actually advocated punching people that they called Nazis. I mean, maybe if it was an actual Nazi, but they're talking about people who are just right of center. And
Right.
that's who they
Yeah,
were saying
which
it's
I
okay
hate
to
that
just
term, by the
punch.
way. I really hate the term Nazi because it gets used so darn much without somebody knowing the history of its usage.
Yeah.
If I'd have known this
And
was
now I've used that N word. Now someone might get me in trouble. I should have said Yahtzee. I at this point I think I'm small enough that I don't have to worry too much about that level of insanity.
right.
But I mean, yeah, and going back to even Jim Carrey, I don't agree with. I don't have to agree with everything they have to say, anyways. But with Jim Carrey, there are things I don't agree with that he said. He's made some bad takes in the past. So when he came out and he said he was disgusted by, Will Smith's actions at the Oscars, I was like, be disgusted by your own actions, and the stuff that
Yeah.
you do sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. I get where he's coming from a comedian standpoint, because there are comedians who are on the stance that you should be able to do comedy, period,
Mhm.
point blank. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of on that level too. I made a statement once that I'm autistic, and I don't mind if somebody makes fun of my autism as long as I'm in on it, as long as I know it's a joke, and as long as it's not going to harm somebody and hurt them physically, or if it's illegal in some way.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. It's a joke.
And
I listened
honestly,
to a guy called Christopher Titus, I think is his name. And he does this whole routine where he talks about his inner retard. Now, let me tell you how hard it is for me to even say that word. It's hard because when I was younger, that's what I got called. I
mhm.
got called that by a guy who hated me because I was different.
Yep.
And what he did was he beat the crud out of me, and he would beat the crud out of me while yelling that term.
Yeah.
And it really messed with my brain to the point where I couldn't hear it without violently getting set off.
Yeah,
And it took me the longest time to kind of reconcile that, okay, the way they're using that term, the R word, the way they're using that term is not towards me. It's not meant to be hurtful. It's meant, as a joke, the way that Christopher Titus talks about it. Because he said, basically what he said was people who have that R word are really bad people, is what he said. He said, but, there are people out there that use that term in a way that's negative and it shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So it helped me a little bit to discern the negativity of that word as compared to the positivity of that word. Because you go back in history, that word really, that word was used by doctors.
Exactly.
And it wasn't meant as a negative thing. It was meant as
as a diagnosis.
Yeah, diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And kids at some point decided, well, I'm going to use it against everybody. And it became a negative term. And that's just sad.
Yeah. At one point when I had others going, well, it's okay to use the term retard. It's not really going to bother people. I decided to ask one of my clients just what he thought of the term. And his response was, I hate it. And so I just came back was like, guys, I'm not going to police what you can and can't say, but just so that you know, people who have that don't necessarily think that it's okay to use it.
Right. And to be honest, I hated, and I still hate, I hate the term. I really do, because of the negative connotations of it.
Out of curiosity, have you noticed that I pretty much never use that term?
Huh?
He never uses that term.
Right.
Yeah. Whenever I talk about a disability, I'm pretty much always talking literally. When I comment that, oh God, that person seems autistic, I'm actually saying that I'm seeing in behaviors that look autistic. When I say that my cat's autistic, I'm literally saying that he has that he has traits of being autistic. Unlike every other cat that I have, I've had a lot, have not had those signs. This one, I swear he's autistic.
Yeah, that's funny. I love it when people call their animals autistic. I always think that's hilarious.
Yeah, but so many people just say that, not know what they're talking about, which is why I'm trying to make it clear that I've had lots of cats and I've never called any of the others autistic. This one, though.
Well, I hate to be a downbringer, but I have to get going. I have a little one to put to bed, and
no problem at all.
Is the only thing.
I think we covered most of the stuff that is salient for people who didn't know what was going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yeah.
That was the large thing, part of what I wanted to do with this, because whereas those of us who've been watching The Umbrella Guy and stuff like that is just, we hear about it and we go, well, of course. But then we get but then we get other people, and I'm not going to name names, but one of the other people in the chat was like, oh God, fuck Amber Heard and all that stuff. Fuck Johnny Depp. They're just Hollywood. And it's like, no, there's more to it. There's more to it than just that.
Yeah. Well, my computer is the only way I can get my ADHD child to go to bed.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. So I would just say that I think we've covered everything, and I think for the people that didn't,
in the world, all the fame in the world, you're still a human being. I mean, you have mental issues, you have struggles, stress, all that.
Yep.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah. But so yeah, I will let you go. And is there anything else that you'd like to talk about, Joy? Because like I said, I think we've covered most of it. And also thank you for coming. And I'm going to put a link to your channel in the description, by the way.
Okay. I think Joy stepped away. She went to dinner.
Oh, I missed that.
Yep, it's in the other chat.
I always miss the private chat. I was like trying to be a good streamer and be looking at the normal comments. So I hadn't even noticed the little red thing come up under private chat.
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I gotta get off
Yep.
of here and go put my ADHD child to bed.
You know, here's
No
the
problem.
thing. If anything at all comes out of this, and one loses, the other wins, you know, they could do a tiebreaker. They could have a food fight
With frozen apples.
with frozen apples.
With frozen
Yes.
apples, yeah. Well, it
Make
was
sure to shave them so they have the jagged edge.
it was good to be on your chat.
Yep.
You
Nice
know,
to
you,
meet you there.
you link to my channel. You'll notice that I don't have anything right now. So if anybody
I
has
know.
any ideas, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
And go ahead and check out my channel too. And
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I have a link to yours. If you could put that in the chat in the Enormities Lounge, I'd appreciate it, and I'll be happy to put that there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. It's under.
Oh wait, yeah, I
J-Book
do have yours.
Productions.
Productions, yes.
Yeah, never mind. I've got yours.
And I haven't done much for quite a while. I guess because I wait for people to actually say anything about my videos, which I shouldn't.
Sam, all right. I will make videos about which food does the most damage.
That's right. Cold.
And-
You want to do cold cases and murders?
I will look for cold cases
Cold
and
case
murders.
dealing with
Dealing
food.
with
It'll be a George Costanza sort of.
Actually,
No. George
yeah,
Costanza, he was a murderer.
He just-
Nobody knew it.
you could also
did his
kind of go off of that with poison.
edged sub sandwich in his drawer.
he just typed in the comments. Fuck yeah.
More seriously, to go along with that, though, you might consider poisoning cases, which
Yeah, I was
has
thinking about that.
which
and-
which has to do with food damage.
Yeah. Yeah, food. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about, and it's Noel, the first Christmas.
But there's no L in that.
Well, everybody calls me Nicole.
Why is everybody not giving her the L? There's no L. Give her the L.
Oh.
Go on. Give her the L already. This is Weird Al
Okay.
Yankovic.
So to explain why my name on YouTube is Honey Chubs, I made the mistake of we got Honey Crisp apples, and I thought they said Honey Chubs. So I asked Jay if he wanted a Honey Chub apple.
No, I walked into the kitchen. She said something about, "Do you want any honey chubs?" And I said, "What are honey chubs?"
And they were Honey Crisp apples. And I was like, oh, that's a good name. I'll use that as my YouTube channel name.
Honey chubs.
Okay, well, I better get going before I get a knock on the door.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Hey, not a
Thanks
problem.
for having us.
Thanks for having
Yep.
us.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay. So I'll probably end the stream, but and so yeah. As I'm sure everybody already knows, I like to stream a lot of things, playing games and stuff. Recently beat Elden Ring. That was fun. So yeah. Thank you to everybody who showed up. And even though you're not here at the moment, Joy, thank you very much for thank you very much for coming. And oh right, and Joy has her own stream. Not stream, has her own channel where she does art and stuff. And she's currently writing in a book called Singularity, which is somewhat inspired by Mass Effect, but not any sort of a knockoff of it. And she is releasing it chapter by chapter to the internet. I really, really think it's good. So I think everybody should check it out. Link in the and the link will be in the description. Thank you everybody for showing up, and and stay curious.